Thank you. God love you. Thank you very much. You may be seated, please. I did all that? Good. Welcome. I'm really glad to be here. Of course, you're always supposed to say that, right? I'm really glad to be here. I mean it. My, you folks right over there, y'all gonna have a hard time seeing me, ain't you? Yeah. Oh, you got it up there on the deal? Pretty cute for 65, don't you think? Good Lord, I'm 65 years old. I wasn't supposed to make it, but I'm glad to be here. Brother Steve and Brother Rudy and I, we were going to do a concert in Fort Collins, Colorado in 2001. And 2 days before the concert, some bad guys flew some airplanes into some buildings in New York City and killed 3,000 of our fellow Americans. Steve and Rudy and I didn't know what to do. Randy, how would you go out and entertain a crowd? You know, how would you go out there and, you know, kind of have fun and laugh and giggle and sing these little songs about doggies and horses? And we didn't know what to do. Our lead guitar player and dear friend, Steve Smith, he usually stands right back there. He's been with us 38 years. We call him a BFAM, a brother from another mother. And he said, boys, just go out there and tell those folks in Fort Collins, Colorado, that you're going to pray for those folks in New York City and for their families, and then sing America the Beautiful, and then just get out there and do what God put you here to do, and that's sing music for people. So that's how we've done it for the last 12 years, and that's how I'm going to do it tonight, all right? Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grace, for purple mountains, majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee and crowned thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for patriot's dream that sees beyond the years. Thine alabaster cities gleam, undimmed by human tears. Sing it with me. America, God said, mighty pretty, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Give the USA and yourselves and me a big hand, all right? Thank you very much. I really do appreciate that. I'm glad to be here. Let me tell you what I'm really happy about. I'm happy about the fact that you nice folks knew the words to America the Beautiful. Yeah, we were in California a couple of weeks ago, asked them to sing along. They didn't know the words. So it's really great to be back in America. You know what I'm saying? Did I say that out loud? I did, didn't I? Oh, my Lord. I talked to Art. Where'd you go? Where's Arthur? Arthur, where'd you go? I talked to him this morning, and I had forgotten whether I was supposed to bring a guitar, and he said, if you don't bring a guitar, you're not getting paid. Because we've had some donors say, we'll listen to him talk a little bit, but he better sing. So I brought this guitar, and I decided I'd sing, a few songs for you, and then kind of visit. Well, Houston. This was a big hit, people. And as I take a look around, most of you here were darn sure old enough to remember when this was a big hit, Mr. Davis. Here's the thing. Let me tell you how I wrote this song. We were in Omaha. The brothers and I were in Omaha. Some people will just yell for anything. We were in Omaha, Nebraska, doing a show, doing a big fair. And we had been out about 12 or 13 days. We were tired. We had Omaha. Then the next night we were going to do the Cheyenne Frontier Days. And then, so I had an interview to do in Omaha. The brothers went on to Cheyenne in the bus. I stayed over, flew to Denver, then flew up. And on the way from Denver, I rented a car to go up to Cheyenne. And Randy, I started to write a song. You know how you get, so I was going to write a song about the Cheyenne Rodeo. And it went like this. Cheyenne means I'm one day closer to you. Cheyenne means the last day of the tour and we're through. It was, you know, at that time, songwriters in Nashville were trying to kind of get in touch with their warm and fuzzy, kind of like Paul Simon, like a breeze of trouble water. You know, I was trying to get, so Cheyenne means I'm one day closer to you. Cheyenne means the last day of the tour and we're through. Are you from the local TV station? Come on up here. Go ahead and fix your camera and then I'll be, so, oh, it's already fixed, isn't it? Okay. Hi. All of you nice folks out there in TV land, www.gatlinbrothers.com. You can order CDs, books, all kinds of things. We're really glad you're here. And Four Rivers Outreach, there's some nice people too. So look them up and you can give some. Is that it? Now get away from my stage, woman. Oh, I'm kidding. That's so anyway, Cheyenne means I'm one day closer to you. Cheyenne means the last day of the tour and we're through. So I taught it to the band that day at sound check. And my brother Steve, are you wondering where the brothers are? I have no idea. It ain't my day to watch them. Well, Rudy lives in Dallas. He's in jail. That's a different story. I may tell you about that. He didn't do anything real bad. But Steve is the one who stands over on the right. He doesn't talk a lot. But after I taught the band, Cheyenne means I'm one day closer to you, he looked at me and he said, Big brother, that really stinks. He said, that's just awful. He said, if you will change it from that, if you'll put that in a little 2/4 shuffle, he said, tomorrow, we're going to be in our home state of Texas, in Houston, at the largest rodeo on the face of the earth. And if you'll put that in a little 2/4 shuffle, so some cowboys can do a little two-stepping with some cowgirls, you just might have something. So I changed it. It went from Cheyenne means I'm one day closer to you. It went to Houston. Houston means that I'm one day closer to you. Yeah, Houston. Houston means the last day of the tour and we're through. Yeah, honey, you and God in heaven above. No, I love what I do for a living, I really do. But Houston means that I'm one day closer to you. Well, now singing at the world's biggest rodeo sure was a great time for me and the guys. Oh, but when I'm away from you, honey, what do you tell? Probably how cute I am, ain't that about? Singing at the world's biggest rodeo sure was a great time for me and the guys. See, I can see everything going on up here, you know. When I'm away from you, honey, time always never flies. Sleeping all alone in that holiday hotel sure makes the cowboy blue. But here I am in Houston and I'm one day closer to you. Houston, come on, here we go. Houston means that I'm one day closer to you. Yeah, Houston. Houston means the last day of the touring we're through. Yeah, honey, you and God in heaven above know I love what I do for a living, I really do. But Houston means that I'm one day closer to you. So we went to the Houston Rodeo the next day, and I taught the band the new version. And we sang it for the largest crowd to ever see a rodeo anywhere on the face of the earth, 47,419 people. Until 5 years later, they put 5,000 more seats in there, and Randy Travis broke our record. But we went home to Nashville and recorded Houston, and 6 months later, it was the #1 country song in America. Ain't God good? Houston means that I'm one day closer to you. That's the truth. Oh, thank you. Thank you. All right, it's got pleasantly a little cooler, isn't it? Right? But I'm taking this coat off. Isn't it? I'll tell y'all about Rudy. He's in jail. He didn't do anything real bad. Everybody knows that the Gatlin brothers love to play golf. My brother Rudy is the #1 ranked musician, singer, golfer in the world. That's true. According to Golf Magazine, my brother Rudy can play golf. He can hit a golf ball farther than our mom and daddy went on their honeymoon. I ain't kidding you. He is really good. But here's what happened. He didn't do anything bad. What he did, he was at Royal Oaks Golf Club over in Dallas working on his chipping and putting. He'd already played that day, but he was working on his chipping and putting because he hits it real far, but he can't putt real well. So all of a sudden he realized it was 7:30, and he realized he was supposed to be home at 6:30, and he knew that he was in trouble. So he threw his golf clubs in the back of his little old pickup, and he got clocked on the North Dallas Tollway doing 86 miles an hour in a work construction zone. That ain't good. That ain't good. And that was his first mistake, getting caught doing 86. His second mistake was he decided he did not have time to stop and get a ticket. So he just kept going, and that whoop, 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 you know, and Rudy, he looking in the mirror, you know, and he thinking he could outrun the boy. Finally, he realized he couldn't outrun the boy, so he pulled over the side of the road to take his medicine. And Rudy knew he was in trouble right away because that state trooper was a big old boy, you know, and a big old boy. He's about 6'12", and for you Aggies, that's almost 7 feet. And Rudy was that old boy was chewing gum. You remember he looked like Sheriff Gillespie, you know, in the heat of the night. You remember that, chewing gum, had those big old yellow sunglasses on, and he walked up there. He looked down at Rudy and he said, "Boy, you're in a mess of trouble unless you, tell me some story I ain't never heard before as to why you was driving that dad-burn fast." And Rudy looked up and said, "Well, officer, 2 weeks ago my wife ran off with a state trooper in a car just like that, and I thought you was him trying to bring her back." That's when they took him to jail, right then. So he's over there. You know, my life. Oh, Rudy, do we have any Baptists? Do we have any Baptists? We're in Texas. Do we have any Baptists? See, speaking of Rudy has recently changed religion. See, we were old Pentecostal kids. When we used to come here, we'd come to Dallas and we'd sing over at the Oak Cliff Assembly of God Church. I know, Brother Davis, you love gospel music. We was old harmony, quartet. And we'd sing over there, and we were Pentecostal kids. And then Rudy said he moved up to Baptist. And he said now he is all the way up to Presbyterian. Do we have any Presbyterians in here? A few. Rudy said that he told me one time that there was a big difference between Baptists and Presbyterians. I said, "What is that?" He said, "Well, unlike the Baptists, the Presbyterians will at least say hello to you in the liquor store." Baptists will not do it. If they say anything, it's something like, "You didn't see me in here." You know what? If you can drink like a gentleman or a lady, my hat is off to you. Larry Gatlin cannot drink like a gentleman. My name's Larry, and I'm an alcoholic. Hi, Larry. And I'm grateful for it. I really am. I'm grateful for it. My life is one endless string of God moments. It's one endless string of Almighty God. Now see, this 12-step program, you can call, it's a higher power, and I understand that. You call God, call him Fred, call him Mildred, he or she or it does not care. The secret is just calling it up there something. Now, whatever that thing up there is, though, and I don't do this out in other places. I use God as you understand him, as we do in the little 12-step program here amongst you folks. God, as I understand him, had an only begotten Son, and his name was Jesus. Amen. So let's just get that straight right now. But God, in his wisdom and his love toward Larry Gatlin, an unending stream of wonderful things, exactly the right person at exactly the right time in exactly the right place. Great parents. My dad will be 86 years old May 14th. They live over in Frisco. Mom is 84. How many of you ever worked in the oil field? Huh? Okay, Brother Davis, my daddy was a driller. 30 years on a drilling rig without a single lost time accident on his shift. That's pretty good for any of you oil field hands. One Saturday morning, I was in there eating breakfast. Daddy came in. He's kind of groveling around, like this. I said, "What's wrong, Daddy?" He said, "I got to go out to work." I said, "I'm short-handed." That Weevil quit on me. Weevil, rookie, somebody that didn't know him. Said, "He quit on me, and I'm going to have to go out there short-handed." I said, "Daddy, I'll go with you." He said, "Nope, you ain't never going to step your foot on the drilling rig floor. That's why I'm working hard, so you'll never have to. You ain't going with me." I said, "Daddy, I'll go out there with you." He said, "Okay, here's how it's going to be. It's real simple." He said, "That man who's paying you did not pay you to sit there in the doghouse and polish that seat with your rear end." He said, "Here's how it's going to be. If it's broke, fix it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If it's broke and you can't fix it, paint it." That's how I was raised. Get your hands on something and go to work. That's how we did it at our house, and I appreciate that. Wonderful, God-fearing, hard-working people, my folks. Had a great grandmother and grandfather, great people. I went to elementary school in Abilene, Texas, then a little bit in Olney, Texas, then out in West Texas, and God put preachers. He put teachers in my way. Do we have any teachers here? Stand up if you're a teacher. Give them a hand right now. All of them. God love you. Wonderful teachers. God put a little lady named Ann Louise Jones in my path. Little my English teacher, senior English. You could make an A on every paper. You could make an A on every test. And if you could not quote, recite, do we have any English teachers here? English teachers? If you could not recite the first 24 lines of Canterbury, the prologue to the Canterbury Tales in Old English, no matter what you did the rest of the semester, you could not make an A. That was the way Miss Ann Louise Jones did it. Wanda de Prille with the shooter shot the drought of March had perished to the rota. I made an A. She taught me to love words. She taught me to love our language, to love the English language, and to read and to study and to write. God put Ann Louise Jones in my path. He put a fellow, Coach Melvin Robertson, who coached the backfield, defensive backfield at Odessa High School. Stephen, who's the guy who introduced me? Where are you? You told him I played football, right? I went to the University of Houston. I played 13 minutes. I did. I was on scholarship. I played 13 minutes. And but Melvin Robertson was my defensive backfield coach and my biology teacher. And at the University of Houston back then, you could give all the scholarships you wanted. They weren't in the Southwest Conference, so there wasn't a rule. So they gave a bunch of scholarships, and they had one for me. about 3 years after I first went there, we found a scouting report that the other team had left behind. It had all of our All-Americans on it, and it finally got down to me. Gatlin, 5'9", 165, wide receiver, has deceptive speed. Then in parentheses it said he's a heck of a lot slower than he looks. But he put Melvin Robertson in my path. God put him in my path. Went to the University of Houston. A lady named Ruby Campbell told me that the Imperials, great gospel singers, you know, they needed a baritone singer. One of their guys had quit the group. I was waiting tables at Steak and Ale. You should have seen me in, anybody remember Steak and Ale? I had those Little Lord Fauntleroy breeches on, you know, and that flying nun shirt. I mean, it was cute. And I was going to law school. Oh, I forgot to tell you about somebody else God put in my life. Janice Gale Moss. Yeah, piano player at the Baptist church. A friend of mine told me, I just saw her at a drive-in restaurant one night, and I didn't think anything about it. She was a couple of years older than I was, and she was really popular, and she was in college already, and I was just a little high school junior. God put Janice Gale Moss in my path. And a friend of mine, David Webb, said, Janice is crazy about you. I called her. We went on our third date. I asked her to marry me on the third date. She said no. I kissed around on her a little better. She said yes. We've been married 43 years. She's the love of my life. God put her in my path. You know, I told my mother that night, the third date, I said, I'm going to marry that woman. And I did. God put that incredible woman in my life. So I went out to the Imperials. I didn't get the job I was trying out for. I was heartbroken. Mr. Davis, all I'd ever wanted to be was a gospel singer like Jake Hess and James Blackwood, people that you know. And it didn't work out. But I met a lady while I was there, a lady named Dottie West. Songwriter, Randy, great songwriter. I met Jimmy Dean. I wrote a few songs. While I was out there, Glenn Campbell had given Dottie a new guitar, and all Dottie talked about was songwriting. So, Dave, don't turn my guitar off, Dave. You never know when I'm going to pick it up, Dave. Just be ready. Give Dave a nice hand. He's 1 for 2. God put Dottie West in my path. And I borrowed her guitar one night. Glenn Campbell had given her a couple of those new Ovation guitars. And I was sitting back in the dressing room. And all Dottie talked about was writing songs. So I wrote this horrible little song. It was, I don't know why I treated her like I did. Like the boy who robbed the cookie jar, I ran away and hid. I don't know why, I just did. Is that awful? That is awful. Where's Larry? Larry, you could have written that one. Like you could have. I ain't kidding you. That's how bad that is. But God had a bigger plan than I had. He put Dottie West in my path. She said, come to Nashville, send me some songs. I went home after I didn't get the job. I wrote 8 songs. I sent them to her. And she sent me a plane ticket. And 2 years later, I wrote, she's a broken lady. Waiting to be mended like a potter would mend a broken vase. Broken lady, waiting to be mended and have what's left of the pieces put back in place. It was in 1975. It was our first #1 record. It was the first time we were ever nominated for a big award. We won the Grammy Award for the Song of the Year the very first time we were ever nominated. Do you believe that? Yeah. Then we lost the next 9 times in a row. I voted for us every single time. Did not vote for the Statler Brothers, did not vote for the Oak Ridge Boys, did not vote for Alabama. I darn sure didn't vote for Wyoming and Nairobi, I'll tell you that. I voted. What are their names? Winona and Naomi. It ain't Wyoming and Nairobi, is it? No, I voted for us every time. And then I wrote, I don't want to cry this early, this morning, but cry I will if you go through with leaving me alone. I don't want to cry this early, this morning, so lay back down and love me and leave the leaving till later on. I should have just started with a high note. Nobody cares about all that stuff. I don't want to cry. So there's that. We lost a Grammy for that one. Nighttime Magic. We lost a Grammy for that one. But we won that other one. And then I was in a traffic jam at the Hollywood Bowl one day in L.A. And right up in front of me, I saw a 1958 Mercury station wagon with Oklahoma license plates. And there were kids hanging out the windows, and they had pots and pans. I mean, all they needed was Granny Clampett on top, you know. I mean, it was the Jode family from Grapes of Wrath, you know, from Johnstown. Thank God for Ann Louise Jones. I knew, and I said to myself, these Okies, and Okie's not a bad term to me. I'm married to Janice. She's my wife/girlfriend, and that's a good deal when they're one and the same person. A lot less complicated. Anyway, Janice is an Okie, but I saw these Okies in this 1958 Mercury station wagon, and I talked to myself, and I said out loud, these Okies have come out here to California thinking they're going to get rich and famous and be stars here in the land of milk and honey and all that, and these Okies are going to find out, and it came out of my mouth, that all the gold in California is in a bank in the middle of Beverly Hills in somebody else's name. So I took that pen, and I took that Hertz rent-a-car slip, and I wrote that down, and the light changed, and I went on over to my other meeting, and after that meeting at Warner Brothers Pictures, I went out in the parking lot at Warner Brothers, and in 8 minutes I wrote, all the gold in California is in a bank in the middle of Beverly Hills. It's somebody else's name, so if your dream... Sweetheart, you're clapping on the wrong beat. No, you're trying hard, and I appreciate that. I really do. How many of you believe that God is no respecter of persons? It says so in the book. I believe it. Arthur, it's in the book. I believe He made us different colors, red, black, white, yellow. He made us all out of that huge palette. He's no respecter of persons. He doesn't care what race, creed, color you are, but white people always clap on the wrong beat. So here we go. All the gold. See, it's stomp, clap. Yeah. All the come on, lady. In California, it's killing you, ain't it? Is in a bank in the middle of Beverly Hills. It's somebody else's name. So if you're dreaming about California, it don't matter at all where you played before. California's a brand new game. Big finish now. A brand new game. Yeah. Thank you. God put that little 1958 Oldsmobile station wagon right there when I needed it. Okay? I had some great friends. One night in Las Vegas, Nevada, a friend of mine was back in his dressing room. I was in the front part of the dressing room. We were at a big hotel casino in Las Vegas, and I heard this. I looked around and I heard. My friend came out of the backstage dressing room, and I said, what was that? He said, I did a little blow. I said, you did what? He said, I did a line. I said, what are you talking about? He said, I snorted some cocaine. You want some? I said, yeah. And I went, for the first time. for the next 5 years. And by the way, God put that person in my path too. Very same, right person, the right place, the right time to fulfill His mysterious, wonderful plan in my life. First time I snorted cocaine. See, I'd gone to college and I had tried marijuana a little bit, but marijuana really wasn't my thing. See, marijuana kind of slowed me down, and as you can tell, slow is not really my gear, you know. Plus, the other thing, Arthur, this was weird. When I smoked marijuana, I could see my words coming out of my mouth. And they came out backwards. You know, like hello is O-L-L-E-H. There, what? Like that. So I never was good at that. That wasn't my deal. But I knew that cocaine and that beer and that vodka, that was good. And it was good, and it worked until it stopped working. And I nearly lost a family. I nearly lost a career, nearly lost my life, because I continued for about the next 8 or 9 years at every opportunity I could to use cocaine hydrochloride and to use alcohol. And one night, one early morning actually, I woke up on my hands and knees in a Holiday Inn over on Central Expressway, on my hands and knees, picking up lint out of the carpet and trying to smoke it in a cocaine freebase pipe. I crawled, appropriately enough, on my hands and knees into the bathroom. I don't know what the devil looks like, if he has a pitchfork and red tail and horns and all that. What I saw in the mirror is what I think the devil looked like. It was me. Well, I got my clothes on. I went downstairs. God put a country music loving cab driver in the driveway of that Holiday Inn because I didn't have any money to get to the Dallas airport because I'd spent it all the night before. I said, "Sir, do you like country music?" He said, "Yes, I do." I said, "My name is," he said, "I know who you are, Mr. Gatlin. I love your music." I said, "If you'll get me to the airport, I'm not in very good shape. I need to get home. I'll send you the money back." He said, "I know you will. I'll take you." God put the right person, the right place, at the right time for me. Right there. That's what happened. I got to the airport, and there's a fella used to work for American Airlines, recovering drunk like me. I went up the Admiral's Club, and there was Walter. He knew what I needed. He was kind of the passenger service rep. He let me lay down back there, and I was so messed up. He kind of took me down and pretty much poured me into the plane. I got home. God put Walter right there, the right place, the right time for Larry. I got home. The right woman was there to meet me, and I said, "Janice, honey, I'm going to go to treatment. I've got to do something about this." I called my friend Darrell K. Royal. Anybody know Darrell Royal? God love him. He had told me a few weeks earlier that he loved me like his own son, but that I was messed up and needed help. So I called the Heffy, I called Darrell. He didn't send me to treatment, he took me to treatment. I met him in the Dallas-Fort Worth airport a week later, and he took me to California. And he was the right person, the right place, at the right time. Then I met a fellow named Dr. Joe Persh. Dr. Joe Persh doesn't take anything off anybody. He said, "Larry," he's Yugoslavian. He's the gentleman who helped Miss Betty Ford when she got sober. He said, "Larry, your problem is not drugs and alcohol. Your problem is, Larry, you're a horse's rear." He didn't say rear. And he guided me through and into this thing called recovery. Oh, I got to tell you what happened. I was there. The first night, they took all of my toiletries and stuff, you know, and they put me in this room with this guy, and he was playing his ghetto blaster thing, you know, and I couldn't sleep. I finally went to sleep, and the next day, I marched right down there. And I had on those flip-flops, you know. They used to call them thongs, but that's a different thing. We ain't going there. So anyway, I had these flip-flops on. And my friend Mike Campbell is the, you know Mike, he's the merchandising man for the Oak Ridge Boys. And he's one of the funniest guys in the world, been my best friend from Odessa for years. And they're flip-flops. He calls them go-aheads. I said, why you call them go-aheads? He said, man, you can't back up in them. If you back up in them, you're out of them. So anyway, I flip-flopped right down there. Y'all remember Nurse Ratched in one flip? Nurse Ratched was at the nurse's station. I walked down there. I said, okay, here's the deal. I want a room with a shower in it. Because mine didn't have a shower. It had that guy with that ghetto blaster. It had a commode and a sink. I said, I want a room with a shower. And she said, Mr. Gatlin, the showers are right down there. I said, no, I can afford it. I've got the money. I want a room with a shower in it. She said, Mr. Gatlin, the showers are right down there. I said, you don't understand. I am a star. I can afford it. Last night I spent the night in the Blackstone Presidential Suite at the Blackstone Hotel in Fort Worth, Texas. I can afford it. I'm a star. I want a room with a shower in it. She said, Mr. Gatlin, you're not a star in here. You're just a drug addict like everybody else. The showers are down there. And I just flip-flopped my way. It's too late to back up. God, in His infinite wisdom, mercy, and love, put exactly the right person at the right place at the right time in my life. Nurse Ratched, there she was. And that was December 9th, 1984. And by the grace of God, I don't crawl around on hotel room floors anymore looking for cocaine. And I don't drink vodka or beer or anything else. I'd rather have a rattlesnake in my hand than a gram of cocaine right now. I think I could live better than, have a better chance of living. And you know what? That's what Four Rivers Outreach is doing, what you folks are doing. Have you ever thought about that? Each one of you here tonight is exactly the right person at exactly the right time, at exactly the right place here tonight. And in so doing, you're also exactly the right person at the right place at the right time for somebody out there who needs you and who needs your financial wherewithal. So don't ever think you're just kind of gliding through this thing, and nobody sees. That's not the way it is. I went back home. Actually, the next day, after I was there for 28 days, I took a red-eye flight to New York City. That's a real good place for a fellow to go when he's been sober 28 days. Went to New York City and did an interview on what was the ABC? What was the Good Morning? Oh, Good Morning America. Yeah, with Kathy Lee Gifford. And as I was about to go on and talk about all of this, a lady stuck her head in my dressing room door. And it's a I know the program, it's anonymous, but her name was Ann M. And she's been very forthcoming about her recovery. Ann M., beautiful, red hair actress. And she said, I love you and Bill Wilson loves you. Keep it simple today. Huh? Before I'm going to go out on national TV and only been sober 28 days, and Ann Margaret tells me to keep it simple, and, God put the right person at the right time at the right place in my life. So they're paying me a little money to get y'all here tonight. I'm going to take it. I believe in capitalism and free enterprise. Y'all too? Yeah, it used to be real big here in America. But I'm going to give 10% of what they're going to give me back to you nice folks for this outreach. And you've already given money. I know you have. The master teacher of the Lord Christ said, if you don't take care of the widows and orphans, I will not know you in front of my Father. That's what the boss said. I want him to know me. Now, some things I hope he doesn't remember. But I know he'll remember that he hung on a cross between heaven and earth and two thieves. And I know he'll remember that when I was a little boy in a little Assembly of God church in Albany, Texas, I asked him to come into my heart and in my life. I was playing golf about 4 or 5 years ago with a guy. My friend Ben Crenshaw asked me if I'd play golf with this stranger out there. A guy wanted to play Austin Golf Club, and you've got to have a member to play Austin Golf Club. I didn't know the guy, so I said, all right, I'll play golf with him. Well, on about the 4th or 5th hole, I missed a straight-in birdie putt about that long, and I said a really bad word. I mean, not one of those really, really bad. I did not take the Lord, but and this old boy looked at me and he said, well, I thought you were a good Christian. I said, are there good ones and bad ones? He and I didn't talk a lot the rest of the day. So I don't know if there are good ones and bad ones. I just know by the grace of a merciful and loving God and the blood of Christ, I am one. Because God put Jesus in the right place at the right time. So before you leave tonight, get that pen there and give these good folks some money. Because they're doing the right thing with it, right? And if you're out there, if you're sitting there tonight and you need somebody to come across your path at the right place, at the right time. Had an old boy call me one day and said, you're Larry Gatlin, the singer? And I said, yeah, I am. He said, I went out, was going on to a sporting goods store to buy a pistol. And on my way out, I saw that you were going to be on the noon show. I went and bought that pistol, and I came back. But I like your singing, so I wanted to hear you sing on the Ralph Emery show. I said, I heard your song, Light at the End of the Darkness. I said, I decided not to put that pistol in my mouth and shoot myself in the head, and I went and took that pistol back. So, God put me in His path at the right time and the right place. And that song, and I'm grateful for it. And here's the song. There's a light at the end of the darkness, and it shines for all the world to see. It will shine on your heart if you will let it. I was blind when it finally shined on me. There is hope in that light for the hopeless, and a soothing balm for pain and misery. It's as near as your faith, but sometimes seems fleeting. I was blind when it finally shined on me. There's a light at the end of the darkness, so look up when you are down and try to believe. Sometimes we have to be knocked down to make us look upward. I was looking up through the bottom when it finally shined on me. Sometimes we have to be knocked down to make us look upward. I was looking up through the bottom when it finally shined on me. Don't forget, in somebody's life, you are exactly the right person at exactly the right place at exactly the right time. You believe it? So do I. That's why you're here tonight. God bless you all. Thank you. You're wonderful. Thank you for being here. God bless. Give them some money. You give them some money right now.